Today I'll be using a wheel randomizer to determine which of the 4 elemental swords on Citadel I'll be using in an attempt to see how high of a round I can get. Last one we did Durndal is the lightning sword. I'm kind of hoping for a fun one this match that I'm playing. So that's either Soleus or Balmung. So go Balmung. I really want to try the Raven sword. Fingers crossed. Dang, bro, am I 2 for 2 on guessing which sword we're gonna be using? That's crazy. Yeah, so I had already recorded this video, but I made an oopsie and didn't pay attention to my audio, so there was no game audio, and he ain't about to do that. So here I am redoing this video. Y'all better drop a lot of likes on this bitch. That's all I'm gonna say. I want to see like 20, 50 likes, something like that. All right, at the moment I'm getting set up. I'm almost ready to go take on the castle here, so once I'm done with that, I will come back and get you.
Bruh. Aside. Good thing we discount.
Oh, all right, pack a punch on. Round should be ending. Ah, you stupid parasite. At the time I'm recording this, the Bills and the Chiefs are playing. Go Bills. As a Cowboys fan, I feel like I owe it to them. It's not looking too good. Not looking too good. Mahomes is gonna Mahomes, if you know what I mean. He's like the new Tom Brady, but he hasn't even been around nearly half as long, and I'm already sick of him. I'll keep y'all updated with the game as I play, even though by the time you see this, oh, I'm broke. The game will be over, and you'll already know who wins. There's our stamp. Gimme. Gimme. Excuse me, pardon me. I can't wait for the vermin nerf to actually go through. Oh wait, I gotta get the item here. On the dusk, no. Over here, no. The jaw. Alright, put that in, put the sword in. I'm gonna have to look at my cheat sheet. There we go. Look how cool that is. Alright, go to the Dark Aether, get really cool. I'm gonna kill this guy. Fuck you. Bada bing, bada boom. Here's Balmung. Do I want to do the PhD bartending thing? Might as well. If you watched my last video where I used Durndal, see how high around I can get. You remember I talked about my journey through the MCU, starting over again. Not necessarily in the order that the movies release, in the order in which you should watch them now since they've been out. Not necessarily when they release. So here, that's the gin. Right. Yeah, right here. Whoop. I don't remember if I got to the point of what I was going to say about the MCU thing. Anyway, I have my friend Sam. He's going to join me and talk about the MCU and what he thinks. It's Shat and Bricks. If you guys have been on my channel long enough, you'll remember Shat and Bricks. We used to play kind of games together. He's the boy, the friend. What do you want? You want the rum? Is this the rum, right? Green. Green was just liquor. Yeah. Yeah, it just says liquor. The cheap stuff, huh? Rum. Here you go, partner. A double rum, huh? A triple rum. I think last time I did this, it was gin that was killing it. Well, I did not mean to do that. Fuck, can I put this down? Great. That's annoying. Oh, did I do it? Sweet. In my last video, I didn't craft cashmeres, but I kind of want to, so I'm gonna kind of break the rules and craft some cashmeres because they're too good. I'm not gonna lie. They're too good. They definitely carried me last time. I've been focusing on the game too long. I didn't notice that the Chiefs scored again. So it's 21-10 Chiefs. It's almost halftime. Jared Allen just made a nice throw. I don't know the Bills receiver's name. So number 0. He got him within field goal range. So that's pretty cool. See if they can go down 13-21 at half. I'm pretty sure Josh Allen has Patrick Mahomes' number in the middle, like regular season. I'm going to turn the Rampage Inducer for a little bit. We're in the regular season. But when it comes to playoffs, I don't know, man. He just You just can't get them. That one playoff game 2 years ago, I think, was probably one of the best playoff games I've ever watched in my life. Was it overtime, double overtime or something? I don't remember. It was just so freaking good. Hey, Voltrade. It'd be nice if you'd Voltrade and drop me another Cashmere. And before I forget, the last video that I did with Durandal, I got to round 75 or 76. So if we want to beat that with Balmung, we need to do our best to work our way up there. Also, guys, I did not take an early round down this time, so we're gonna have 3 self-revives to work with. Oh, look, an extra Cashmere. Just bitch, and things happen. Look at that.
Yo, yo, yo.
What's up?
Oh, sorry.
I was literally just speaking about Sir Shet.
That's me. Well, hello.
Hello. I turned away for 2 seconds, and I'm pretty sure Buffalo scored. I just did an update on the game. I think they scored a touchdown, but there was a flag on the play, and I can't really tell what's happening.
Who's playing right now? Is it Commanders in Buffalo?
No, Commanders lost to the Eagles, so the Eagles are going to the playoffs again.
Dang, dude. Oh my God. Chiefs, dude. I don't want the Chiefs to win.
I know. I'm already tired of them. That's what I was saying a little bit ago. I was like, I'm already tired of these guys.
Obviously, all is fair in love and war. You're playing a game. It's fair to use the loopholes at your disposal.
Flopping? You're talking about the flopping, right?
Yeah, but I also think it's like kind of weak sauce, you know? I'm like, it's kind of whack.
It is.
But
like I said, that's why I said I don't really watch basketball anymore, because the flopping is out of hand and it kind of just takes away from the authenticity of the game.
The one downside to it is that there's no penalty against it, you know, so you can just do that, you know.
I think the NBA tried to do something like that, but I don't feel like they enforce it very well or enough. Yeah, I already explained that I'm basically having to redo my video because my game audio didn't record, and I'm not about to sit there and just hear my voice and your voice with no game audio for like a 30-minute video.
Yeah, no, I think it's better to
redo.
Well, you lead the charge and the direction, and I will talk. I'll use my words.
Leading the charge according to the timeline, or the way Disney wants me to rewatch the Marvel movies in order. Up next is For the Dark World, which is considered by a lot of people to be dumpster tier movie quality, but I kind of disagree.
I think if you're gonna use the word Thor and use dumpster quality, I think the most dumpster quality Thor is the most recent one.
Oh yeah, Love and Thunder is awful.
Yeah, Love and Thunder is hot trash, but I think that Dark World is fine. Does its job of moving the overarching plot forward.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it does a whole lot in terms of being a very effective on its own story. It's effective in the overarching scheme of things, but as its own thing, it's kind of like a filler episode.
I think it did. Like, it did a pretty good job of developing like Loki's character arc. Like, he was the bad guy in the Avengers. He comes back. He's in jail now. He goes and helps Thor. Like, it definitely pushed his arc along, his story arc.
I could see that in terms of Loki, with it being like a nice like transitionary film for certain characters. Like, I think it adds a little bit more depth to Thor, Loki's relationship, and it's going to be a theme. And I think the Phase 2 movies is that the villain is kind of buns, and the like trying
elf guy. I should have looked up his name again, dude.
I know.
I feel like the big bad villain in that one was the guy that turned himself into the big mean bad guy with the little
the dude
rock
that's
thing.
Actually physically imposing.
Yeah.
Not to say that you need to be physically imposing or whatever, but I'm just like, you don't really get like any sort of like big fight between Thor and that dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get like you get Thor and that dude's minion, who's insane. Yeah, I think Thor: The Dark World is fine. I don't think that it does anything that's bad. I mean, the human characters in Thor I've never really cared about. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
So Macy, you didn't like her, the intern Macy?
No, I also don't really care for Natalie Portman's character.
What? That's his love interest, man.
Yeah, but I'm of the mindset of you don't need a love interest in every movie.
You really don't.
You don't need somebody to be there to be like, if they get this one person, then I'm going to be completely distraught. Despite the fact that this guy's apparently trying to like slam realities together in this convergent thing. But yeah, I think that Thor: The Dark World is it is fine. I think that it does its job. kind of mid-tier villain, kind of mid-tier pacing of things. I thought that the whole thing, the whole build up to like Loki and Thor, you know, having that bromance was good.
Oh, are you talking about when they're on the Elf's world and Loki faked his death?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the best part of the movie, honestly.
Yeah, I think also the part where Thor and Loki talk when Loki's like in prison or whatever.
Yep.
They're like good scenes in the movie, but
It was.
on average, I feel like it was just okay.
You're talking about whenever after Frida died and Thor went to go bust him out and he was acting all huff and tough and like he didn't care, but he was actually just like torn to pieces about it.
Yeah,
that was a good scene.
Yeah,
that was a good scene.
Loki's actually like very distraught because that was like the
one person
mom
that cared about him the most.
Yeah, like
the
one person that treated him like a person.
If we're gonna rate,
I'm gonna give it a C.
C, yeah.
I'm gonna give it a big fat C.
It's kind of where I am.
It gets a passing grade.
Yeah.
It's not a failure.
If there was movies in front of it, it'd probably be a mid C area for me.
Yeah.
So up next in the order that I watched is Tony Stark himself, Iron Man 3. That's the one where with Aldrich Killian and AIM and that little what's the thing they inject themselves with that regrows them? Do you remember?
Oh, extremist or whatever it's called. Yeah.
I like the idea of Iron Man 3. You know, what's Iron Man without Iron Man? And then I thought that was fun to explore, but I don't think they did it very well.
No, I agree.
The idea of it, like I said, great. Watching it back after years of not watching it, I don't think they executed it very well.
Like if you're going to just have the same kind of core principle of what happens to Iron Man when he does not have his suits, and how does Tony Stark adapt to things, and also how does Tony Stark adapt to knowing that his technology and all of that stuff is used against him, which is a common theme.
Okay, speaking of that, you know what I think would have been a cooler way to like take his suits away from him? Have the government give AIM the rights to the technology or something because they feel like he's been handling it irresponsibly or something, and he has to kind of fight his way back or prove like, hey, I am Iron Man, this is mine, I deserve to have this kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, or you could see something where like, in the end he kind of setting up like Civil War, he kind of relents to it and he's like, oh yeah, like if I am going to be Iron Man, I need some sort of like governmental accountability kind of thing. So like I could definitely see that being a thing. I just feel like the way that they handled the Mandarin and like the weird, like, they did all this, not that it really matters now, but at the time with the marketing and all of that, and you're like, oh yeah, we're finally seeing this like big character for Iron Man, and then they like kind of just like rug pulled it.
Yeah, I hated the way they handled the Mandarin, man. It was so dumb. Made the Mandarin a joke and a druggy British play actor. Like it was. I wasn't a fan of how they did that.
It was weird. Yeah, no. It was definitely a little strange.
Did you like them stealing Pepper and like trying to turn her into one of those, I guess, kind of, I don't know, super soldier types?
Not particularly. Again, I feel like it's like the old movie trope of like, take the love interest and see how the hero reacts. It's like, yeah, dude, it's classic, but like, also I saw that in Spider-Man 1, dude, and that was
and
great.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And we know how that ended. R.I.P. Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, I know. The old snap, crackle, pop. Kind of in the same way that I feel about Thor: The Dark World. It was just kind of setting up themes and concepts for like Civil War.
But if you think about it, isn't that kind of how all the MCU movies are? It's literally just setting up the next set of movies to get you to the ultimate goal of Thanos. Like they're all just kind of setups in a sense.
It is, but I'm like, I think that, and there is a movie in this list that does a really damn good job of being its own complete story that feels like you could watch it on its own.
There's
and
two
not
of
have
those,
to
I
connect
think,
it.
Sam. I think there's two of those movies.
Yeah. One of them stands out in particular.
Yep. Before let's go ahead and rank it, and then we'll move on to said movie that you were referring to.
Yes, because you know what I'm referring to. Okay,
I do.
Ranking on this one, I'm gonna be real. I'm probably gonna give it a D.
A D. Okay. I would say if I was gonna do it, I would say it's probably. I'm not gonna lie. I liked it better than The Dark World, but.
You liked it better than Dark World?
Yeah, but I mean, I can see the D.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
And I got one little nitpick, and then we'll move on to that movie. When I rewatched it again, if y'all recall, whenever Iron Patriot got stolen, and Rhodey basically locked himself in the suit and was like, I'm not coming out. I'm not giving you a suit. And they started, Aldrich Killian started to heat it up to make him pop out, right? Eventually he popped out, and Aldrich Killian kind of knocked him out, and he just left him there. If you're a villain, are you just gonna leave the guy just like, you know, just big chilling? Or are you gonna kill him or put him in a cell or something or lock him up? Like, it's kind of a small nitpick, a stupid nitpick, but it's just, I felt like that was kind of a big oversight in my opinion. I'll agree with you. I'll say that we can probably throw this around D. If I was doing my own list, it'd be probably a low back end C, but in front of Thor probably, but we'll go D.
Oh yeah. I think that if we're giving Thor: The Dark World a C minus, I would give this like a D plus.
Yeah.
Like it's not an atrocious movie, but it doesn't do enough for me to be like, yeah, this is a good movie on its own. So are we moving on to the next one?
Yes.
The best one.
The best.
Spoilers.
The best MCU movie probably in general ever, and that was Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And if you don't think this is the best MCU movie ever, get the off my channel. No, I'm just kidding. I love you.
Actually, but for real though, get in the comment section and tell us why you don't think so, or what your pick would be. Captain America: Winter Soldier, I feel like it is without a doubt probably the best standalone movie, maybe next to Iron Man. I did enjoy the first Iron Man.
OG Iron Man, right? Yep, I agree.
OG Iron Man's fantastic.
Yep.
Just like this, like dope espionage, like spy versus spy kind of thing, but with super soldiers, and with one super soldier in particular that is
armed and dangerous.
Armed again.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But I love the whole dichotomy of Bucky Barnes and Steve Rogers, and seeing how Steve reacts to like his literal like childhood best friend. Getting like turned into someone else, but having to like try to suss that out.
You gotta remember, Steve Rogers was under the ice for like 70 years. So imagine basically everyone you knew or had any kind of relationship with is probably dead at that point, or like dying. Like you saw it with Peggy Carter. She was basically in a hospice, right? So it's being able to see your friend, and not just your friend, but like he's still young. Imagine all the feelings you're probably feeling in that moment as Steve Rogers.
I mean, it's probably so. When I think about that movie and what makes it stand out as having such like a cool concept to it is just that, where it's like to Steve, he thinks everyone he's ever known is like dead,
known, loved, whatever. They're gone.
Like unless they were like an infant or something, like they're probably dead
or really old.
And so to have this sort of like feeling of like,
not
you know, you don't know who this person is up front. You just know that they're a bad guy. You're like, I'm gonna fight him. I'm gonna be Captain America. I'm gonna fight him. All the while you're trying to understand the fact that this like United States that you like loved and cared for is kind of a shell of its former self,
and
with,
literally
like,
died for.
Yeah, exactly. With like Hydra has like kind of taken over, and then you also have to deal with this like, oh, your best friend is a
Russian asset.
Yeah, like a fucking sleeper soldier, sleeper cell or whatever. I think that is very compelling, and I think that it already kind of has itself set up for being a great story.
I think the reason that it's so compelling is because it's not necessarily realism, but it's grounded in some kind of realism that you can kind of relate to in a sense. About
which
corrupt governments, people interfering with governmental stuff. Like the question, which the main movie is about I can't remember the name of the project, but how it basically wanted to spy on everyone and eliminate potential threats before the threats have even happened. So it's like, I mean, I feel like it's based in some realism with also the comic twist to it. So I think that's part of the reason why it's the best movie.
I just think the way they handled it was done really well. It doesn't have any of that like goofy Marvel pun kind of thing going on with it. It doesn't have like that weird tonal shift that I think a lot of Marvel movies can suffer from. It just kind of stays really consistent. It tells a really good story, and
speaking of tonal shifts, Thor's one of those ones that
like
Thor's
neck
the worst.
breaking.
Yeah, it's like funny, but then the Dark World tried to be too serious, and then funny again, and then over the top. Anyway, continue. My bad. I just had to.
No.
I just had to take a little jab there.
I appreciate your jab. not continue glazing it way up, I would say that to me it gets an S, an easy S.
Easy S plus for me. It's just the
S plus. I like that.
yeah, like I said, S plus baby. Like I said, best Marvel movie ever. And if you disagree, get the off my channel. I'm just kidding. it's just too good. It's just too good, man. But yeah, next is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Like short and sweet, it's just entertaining as hell.
Yes.
It's just
Pure
it's got
entertainment.
everything going for it, like the soundtrack, understanding the characters, setting up this like space-faring other connection to the universe of something we already know.
Yeah, basically it
And
set
just
up the
doing it
space
really
part
good.
of the Marvel universe.
But it did it in such a fun way where it's like, you know, I think most people think space stuff, they think like Star Trek or Star Wars, and this feels like its own special thing. Like the way that James Gunn like got the vision for this and like kind of just nailed it down. It's just like perfect. It has I think some of the best depiction of like a spacefaring kind of like what's the word that I'm thinking of here? I want to say community, but that's not really I think the word that I'm looking for. But like this sort of like great take on what it is to be like a spacefaring civilization or multiple civilizations. I think that's rad.
I think he finds a good balance between like not making it too comic like let's be honest, comic books sometimes have a little cheese to them. He makes a nice balance of like I can see that in what makes them them. If you know what I'm saying.
No, I know completely what you're saying, and I agree. It's like he knows how to ride that fine line of being like kind of cheesy, but comic books and comic book characters are just that. They're comical, you know, like they have a way of being serious, but they also have these moments of levity, and I think that James Gunn just gets that. He just gets it.
Again, this is going to be a very small, minute critique of Guardians 1 is when Ronan... What was the stone they were after? Was it the Power Stone, right? The purple one?
It was a Power Stone.
When Ronan gets the Power Stone and he has it on his hammer, he's on a call with Thanos.
Yeah.
And he basically makes Thanos hang up on him and look scared. I didn't like that in a sense of like we're building up to Thanos, right? And it kind of made Thanos look like a little bit of a pushover because earlier in the film, he met him face to face and was like dogging him, right?
Yeah.
I don't like that the roles kind of reversed and then Thanos was scared of him.
Yeah, I mean, you said you don't like that?
I didn't like that. I think Thanos should have I feel like he should have threatened him or something. I don't know. I don't think Thanos would have pussed out like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
I could see that. I could see that as especially if you're talking like comic accurate Thanos. Like comic accurate Thanos is gonna take whatever punch you throw at him and chew it up and spit it out. You know, whatever jab, whatever little like you can't phase comic Thanos.
Yep.
So I think like maybe it was their attempt to give him some level of like being reasonable or something, but yeah, I can see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
I feel like I don't know, because we're building up to this big bad. He's gonna bow down to one dude that has a hammer with the like. I don't know. I didn't like it.
The Guardians movie, I think it's really damn good. I just don't think that it's as good or close to being as good as Winter Soldier is. So if I'm gonna give Guardians of the Galaxy a ranking, I'm gonna give it an A.
Definitely an A. It's pure fun.
It's just fun. There's not a whole lot of depth to it. There is in some ways, but in other ways, like in terms of like villains and all that kind of stuff, somewhat lacking.
Pretty good spot for it.
I'd watch it again. I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot because I wouldn't watch Iron Man 3 again, and I wouldn't watch Thor: The Dark World again.
Then next on the list, it wanted me to watch Guardians 2.
Guardians 2, I would say similarly to Guardians 1. It suffers from some of the same problems, but it gains, I think, a little bit more depth to it that the first one didn't have.
There's some fun moments in it, but I think Guardian 2's biggest gripe was that there's not a lot of... It deviates from the fun thing, and I made this analogy the first time we did this, is that it's kind of... Think of your favorite music artist. If they made the same type sounding music over and over again, wouldn't you kind of get bored of listening to them?
Yeah.
Sometimes, sometimes you
that's-
gotta switch up the formula. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
I respect James Gunn's view of wanting to explore other characters, or not necessarily other characters, but explore characters in depth a little bit more, specifically Peter Quill and Yondu. I think that is a good approach to take if you're wanting to do something a little bit different, maybe have a little bit more depth to it. I also think exploring Peter Quill's lack of a father and feeling like he's this lost human kid in an otherwise gigantic universe.
Mommy died, he got abducted.
I think that the way that they focus on that is good, and I just think it's more of like, what's your cup of tea? I like the idea of, you know, his other team members having to like try to figure out a way to tell him that they think his dad's a bad guy.
Piece of shit.
And ego.
I mean, obviously he is. He left you all alone,
yeah.
bro. He killed your mom.
And trying to protect the person they care about from a person that he is thinking cares about him, or that he cares about. I think that's compelling. I think that's good.
I think at the end of the day, Kurt Russell's character Egon didn't even really care about Peter Quill. He just needed him to help do his master plan of creating planets or whatever.
Oh yeah.
He's kind of a tool or an instrument that he needed, and just pretended that he cared.
Yeah, and I think that that is again, it's a very interesting thing to focus on. And I like it. I personally resonate a lot with the movie. Hashtag daddy issues. You know, overall, it's not as good. But, hey, that's my opinion.
It's not.
You know
I mean, I agree,
opinion.
You actually had to change my mind about this movie, because I originally had it way lower on the ranking list. I don't remember what I said, but I think you changed my mind. And
I think I gave it a B.
I wouldn't say you necessarily talked me into it, but you made me talk myself into realizing that it's not that bad of a movie, so I'll agree with you on the B. So after Guardians... okay, it leaves us... I'm gonna say probably one of the most disappointing and underutilized characters in the MCU, and that is Avengers Age of Ultron. Because Ultron is one of my favorite bad guys, and they literally gave a robot fucking lips, dude.
Yeah.
And eyebrow expressions.
Optimus Prime human lips.
Like, no. James Spader did a good job voicing him, but as
James Spader was great as him, and I think that overall some of his characterization was decent, but it's just, I think that if you're a comic fan and you're aware of the comics,
and you know how Ultron is, he's expressionless. Yeah. He's literally a fucking robot. Like,
and so then you're like, well, gosh darn, it's the same thing that I struggle with when I'm thinking about the Star Wars movies, and how there were books written as sequels to Star Wars that were fantastic, and they got characters in them, and they did a great job with those characters.
And then Disney bought the IP and uncannoned it.
And it just kind of like didn't do a great job with it. It kind of hits in the same way where I'm like, you know, for a lot of people, they probably don't know the comic version of Ultron. Their first experience with Ultron was this movie, and I'm sure they thought he was just fine. But if you know the comic version of the character,
he's basically undefeatable too. Like you may think you got him, but you don't, because Ultron is eternity, bro. And I don't know.
I mean, they like it's like they do Ultron Light. They like try to explore that with like, if you kill Ultron's main body, he's just going to be uploaded into another Ultron bot, and you're like, yeah, that's real.
That's very accurate. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's kind of him. But then, like, I don't know how they went about it. Like, I guess you could make the argument that like it's kind of similar to the story with Hank Pym, and that like he's obsessed with like, well, what's his whole? He's like obsessed with perfection, right?
I don't remember the comic lore of Ultron with Hank Pym and stuff, but Hank Pym was the original creator, and at this point, I didn't blame him for this, because at this point in the MCU, Hank Pym wasn't introduced. So, I mean, it could have been a good time to introduce him to set up Ant-Man, because I think after Ultron, if I'm not mistaken, or after Ultron, Ant-Man wasn't too far behind. So, I mean, it could have been a good way to introduce Hank Pym instead of Banner and Tony's creation, but
yeah. I think that overall, it wasn't quite what I was hoping it would be. There are good moments in the movie for sure, yeah. And I think some of those moments are more so in like the beginning.
The opening fight scene when they're attacking the bunker in the castle. That was. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty good.
No, it was good. The whole Baron von Strucker
Yep.
thing, good. I liked it. The things that I didn't quite care for are the twins. I didn't like the way they handled that. Taking away the Magneto element of.
But you got to keep in mind at that point they did not have the Fox IP to use X-Men, so they kind of just had to make up their own kind of version of X-Men.
And that makes sense.
But I understand,
just don't
yeah, like
it.
it's you can't have Scarlet Witch without Magneto. Like I get it.
It's a disservice to a character. Again, it goes back to the thing of like I guess it comes down to preference. I prefer Ultron when it's comic Ultron, you know. I prefer Wanda Pietro as comic Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. And I think the reason being is that they're just not written as well, and I don't like the way they handle their magic. I think it's just kind of
Which
weird.
their magic came from the
stone, and it's just I don't know. I guess it's a take it or leave it kind of thing for me. I think that they're written so much better in the comics, and if you know the comics, you're like, well, damn, this is just, it just doesn't really compare. I think that the way that it feels like Age of Ultron was just there to really set up Civil War. Like, you could tell that they were really banking on Civil War because, I mean, Civil War is a huge comic.
Yeah,
it made a
I own
huge
it.
splash for Marvel.
Like I own Civil War.
Yeah, it's a great comic, but you could tell they're really trying to lean into that, and that's not a bad thing. But it's the way that they went about it, where it's like Age of Ultron didn't feel like they explored Ultron's character to the best of their ability. Instead, it felt like they used Ultron as a catalyst to start to start building a divide between Tony and
Captain
Steve
America.
Rogers.
Yeah.
And to really solidify like Tony's views and stuff like that. Which again, I know it's an interconnected
world, movie
world
franchise.
and universe and movie franchise, all that. I get that, but more to my point of what, and I think this encapsulates my problems with Phase 2 as a whole. Only one of the movies in Phase 2 feels like it's its own complete movie that tells its own complete story with its own complete themes. The Winter Soldier, it's just it just does all of it. It just does all of it.
It does. I think it suffers from Josh Whedon again, and like I said, you weren't here for my first review, but I don't think Josh, like when Avengers first came out, it was a spectacle because it was like something we hadn't really seen in movies besides maybe in Star Wars, like build-ups of all other movies kind of put together. But I think Josh Whedon did a big disservice to the Avengers movies, and I don't think the first Avengers movies hold up, and he kind of did the same thing in Age of Ultron.
No, I can see that.
He tried to make it too more comic-y than finding the balance of real life stuff. Like, I don't know, maybe I just don't like him as a director, but he just doesn't that's why he got fired, bro. That's why he didn't do another Marvel movie, because he just did not do a good job.
I didn't particularly care for the first Avengers either. I felt like it felt rushed. I think in the same way this movie kind of feels rushed. It feels like they're kind of like really like bunching everyone together, when otherwise in the rest of the movies they didn't have really any real interconnection with each other. Like some of the characters bled over, like Scarlet Witch and stuff, or not Scarlet Witch, like Black Widow, really says anything other than just setting up Phase 3, introducing some new characters for that, introducing Vision. I did like Vision's thing,
Yeah,
I guess.
Vision's cool. Speaking of, you were talking about Black Widow, her romance with Bruce Banner actually pissed me off. Had no place in the movie. If you watched The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, they made a big point and deal about Betty Ross and their love story. And I don't know if it's because, intellectual property stuff, but the fact they forced a romance like that, it was unneeded and very dumb and took away from the very first Hulk movie. So that's a big gripe for me there too, was a forced romance that really had no place in the story at all.
I think that was one of the things that you turned me around to. And I agree. It's very interesting with his character is that his love interest, the person that he cares so much about, is also the daughter of his biggest nemesis.
His biggest op, bro.
and Thunderbolt Ross. I think that's a little bit more compelling than being like,
let's just make Black Widow and him want to bump uglies together.
What are you gonna rate this one?
I mean, it didn't really do anything for me. honestly.
Would you watch it again?
I just did, unfortunately.
No. Would you watch it
again?
Yeah.
I mean, probably because I'm an MCU sucker, but
outside of that, I'm asking in the sense of like, if you weren't doing it just for continuity's sake, would you go out of your way to watch this movie?
Probably not. So I'd probably give it like, I don't know, a D. It's probably down there with, what did we put in D earlier?
Iron Man 3.
Or Iron Man 3. It's probably down there with Iron Man 3, honestly.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm gonna give it a D-. They could have done better. They should have done better.
Yeah, they had so much source material to go with that outside of the whole Hank Pym thing, and they just kind of, Josh Whedon, hey, kind of just shit the bed, bro, like he did in the first Avengers movie.
It's a good cap off for Phase 2 because I think it encapsulates a lot of the problems of Phase 2, and I think because Phase 2 doesn't really do a whole lot to be cohesive, this movie doesn't feel very cohesive. I think because Phase 2 doesn't do a lot to add any bit of coherence between all of the movies, this one kind of feels like it's like a little rushed and they threw this big villain out there.
Can I make a point real quick now that you're talking about that stuff? Age of Ultron feels like an Avengers movie just for the sake of an Avengers movie. If you think back to the first one, we at least kind of had an idea of the big bad guy leading up to it, Loki, because they teased it, right? They teased it at the end of, I can't remember which movie, but like you knew it was going to be Loki, bro. He got in that one professor's head, the doctor or whatever, and he was making moves inside his shield. Like it led up to something. At least the first one did. This one just feels like an Avengers movie just because it was time for an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And they just put Ultron in there for what? Like no reason whatsoever.
Because they could.
I feel like they could have led up to Ultron a little bit in some shape, form, or fashion, and they didn't.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it could have been handled better and say something like Iron Man 3.
Yeah, like when he was having his panic attacks, like he could have, like Ultron could have been teased somehow in Iron Man 3 with.
Well, imagine if you find out that, like, say he's been talking to this AI to like help him figure out, like, you know, how he should handle all the problems with trying to protect Earth, or maybe he's like talking to this AI or using this AI to sort of like, you know, off gas his fear of the stuff he saw in the first Avengers movie and all of that, which makes sense. He's got this like fear of seeing this other planetary force that's out there that could attack Earth and that did attack Earth, and maybe throughout Iron Man 3, you know, he's off gassing to this like AI or talking to it or like using it as like this like failsafe in his brain, and then they tease it at the end of Iron Man 3. They're like, and it's the Ultron program, and you go, oh,
that would have been so much
Ultron.
cooler. What you just said was like perfect, man. Was perfect. It could have, because remember, he has different programs besides Jarvis that he can talk to. Maybe he made I don't know. Like what you said was perfect, bro. Like literally, it was so perfect. You should have wrote Age of Ultron.
Thanks. No, yeah, I think that's my feelings on it as a whole. I think it's entertaining. It's got the Marvel entertainment. It just lacks a little bit of substance.
If I'm not mistaken, that's all I had for quote unquote Phase 2. I know it's not the exact Phase 2, but it's the orders, the canon orders in which you need to watch the movies. And I haven't even updated about the game. So what are we in? Dang, we're in the fourth quarter already? We've been yapping that much? Okay, fourth quarter. The Bills are up 22-21, and there's basically 13 minutes left.
Oh, no.
No, that's good. The Bills are up.
No, I know they're up, but I'm nervous because they're gonna get like some bullshit foul, and then it's gonna like cause them to be cause the fucking Chiefs to be able to get a late game, like very late game field goal. What how far are you in
I'm on
zombies?
round 55, but the sword's doing the thing again where it won't set off.
Didn't you only get into the 50s before?
I made it to round 60 last time before
you got it.
Something very
You're trying to
unfortunate
get to what,
happened.
the 70s?
I'd at least like to get close to what I got on the last sword, but I don't know if this one's got the juice, enough juice in the tank, if you know what I mean.
It got the juice.
Which is funny because that last sword that I used, I thought was probably one of the worst ones. And now every time I hit health cap, I start to struggle, so. And there goes one of my dying wishes. Nice. Let's go buy that back. So I think that's my second one that I burned. We're only on round 56. Nice. Okay. Fourth quarter. Throw Cashmere here. Fourth quarter, 7 minutes left. Chiefs are up 29-22. Come on, Bills. I need you to do something. We're tired of seeing Mahomes in the Super Bowl, please. Oh, 5-round update. Okay, round 65. I'm here.
Let's go. What's your max that you're trying to get to? Is it 78?
I at least want to get into the 70s and maybe beat my last record with Durandal, the lightning sword.
What's your record there? Was it 78?
I think it's 76. If I remember.
You got it, dude. You got it. You're at 65. 13 rounds.
Yeah. The rounds just get longer and longer though, so that's not fun. Round 70. Oh my god.
Let's go.
We're getting there. We're getting there. There's a lot of visual bugs going on my screen. Like I just threw Kashmir and you can't see it. It's kind of weird. So sometimes I don't know if the sword is actually going off or not, but whatever. So football game, there's 2 minutes left. Chiefs are up 32-29. Bills are driving at the moment. Don't give Patrick Mahomes any time, please. Please, please, please don't. And I'm sure by the time I hit round 75, the game will be over. Oh no, oh no! Oh, there goes my last dying wish. Fuck, I'm gonna play like a flawless game from here on out.
Hey, lock in. Lock in.
I've been trying to lock in. Bro, are we literally about to get the same Super Bowl we watched last year?
I'm hoping not.
Chiefs have the ball. There's 1:38 left.
And the same ending because the Bills lost to the Chiefs last year, right?
Yeah. The Bills can't beat the Chiefs in the playoff. It's like their kryptonite. They beat them up in the regular season, but when it comes to playoffs, they just can't beat them. I'm about to do the high round strat down here. Fuck it.
Fuck it, we ball.
Fuck it.
Which one are you on now?
Oh, what round?
Yeah, what round?
73.
Dude, come on, dude, lock in.
I'm trying to lock in. Oh my god. But there's so much visual bugs going on my screen, dude. I can't tell like when stuff's going off or it isn't. It's kind of pissing me off.
Dude, Call of Duty's trying to nerf you right now.
Chiefs just got the first down. There's a minute left. We're getting a repeat Super Bowl. That's so much fun. Don't you guys love watching repeat Super Bowls? I just went down. Fuck, I wasn't paying attention.
Lock in, Addison.
I might have just thrown. Hold on. Why can't my... Okay, go off, please. Let me buy a self-revive back. I think I have one more after this. Now I gotta go buy my perks. At this point, we're just high round stratting. I'm barely using the sword, but I hate coming this far and not... and not at least attempting to hit around 100. So I might be cheesing this swords challenge a little bit. Like if you got this high, wouldn't you want to see if you could at least make around 100?
Yeah, dude.
This will be my second round. I totally deviated from my challenge, but like horrible day of football. We're getting the same Super Bowl we got last year. I'm kind of pissed off.
I didn't watch last year's Super Bowl. Absolutely not watching this year's Super Bowl.
And this time I think it's gonna go to the Eagles because you know the script writers they need their redemption. Wait, was last year Eagles, Jeff, or was it the 49ers?
It was Niners.
Oh, well,
Niners Chiefs.
We had this Super Bowl already anyway. I'm pretty sure, right?
Twice.
Oh, we're getting it again.
Or no, it wasn't twice.
This is the second time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm over it, bro.
I'm just over the Chiefs, dude.
Me too.
I feel about the Chiefs the same way that I felt about like prime what's it called?
Optimus Prime.
Patriots. I kind of want to say Packers.
Yeah, I was so over the Patriots. Jeff's team's the team that saved us from 2 of their Super Bowls, though.
I'll give credit where credit's due. At least like Tom Brady was like out there like not playing like a bitch. Damn, Mahomes.
He played like a bitch.
Yo,
he played like a bitch.
Yo, timeout. I hit round 100.
Not nearly as bad as Mahomes, though.
I hit round 100. I hit.
Let's go, baby.
I hit it. Do I need to finish round 100 or?
Yeah, dude. What are you talking about?
Okay, I'll finish round 100.